Colliding worlds. The emergency room doors burst open with a force that made the night nurse jump. Dr. Naomi. Chen glanced up from her chart to see a tall figure supporting an elderly man who was clutching his chest. "Please," the younger man said, his voice tight with barely controlled panic. "My grandfather needs help. I think it's his heart." Naomi was already moving, signaling for a gurney. "Get him on the bed. How long has he been experiencing symptoms?" 20 minutes, maybe." The man's expensive suit was rumpled, his dark hair disheveled. "We were having dinner when he just collapsed." As they transferred the elderly gentleman, Naomi caught the younger man's eye. Something flickered between them, recognition, though they'd never met. She pushed the thought aside. "Sir, I'm Dr. Chen. I need you to wait outside while I'm not leaving him." His jaw tightened, eyes flashing with determination. "And you are?" "Jasper Blackwood." The name registered immediately. Jasper Blackwood of Blackwood Innovations, the tech company whose headquarters dominated the San Francisco skyline. His face had been on Forbes last month. "Mr. Blackwood, I understand your concern, but I need space to work." She maintained eye contact, unflinching. Every second counts. A muscle in his jaw twitched before he nodded curtly and stepped back. Naomi turned her full attention to her patient. "Sir, can you tell me your name?" "Walter," the elderly man whispered. "Walter Blackwood." The next hour passed in a blur of efficiency. Naomi diagnosed a severe arrhythmia, stabilized Walter, and ordered urgent tests. When she finally stepped out to the waiting area, Jasper was pacing, his phone forgotten in his hand. "Mr. Blackwood," she called softly. He spun around, eyes searching hers. "How is he? Stable. We've got him on medication to regulate his heartbeat. He'll need further treatment, possibly a pacemaker, but he's responding well." The relief that washed over his face transformed him, revealing vulnerability beneath the commanding presence. "Can I see him?" "Briefly," she gestured down the hallway. "He needs rest." As they walked side by side, Naomi became acutely aware of his presence. The subtle scent of expensive cologne, the way his shoulders remained tense despite the good news. "You saved his life," Jasper said quietly. "Thank you. Just doing my job." "Is that why you became a doctor?" "Just to do a job." The question caught her off guard. "No, I became a doctor because I couldn't save someone once. Now I can." His eyes softened. "We have that in common, then." "What's that?" "Being driven by what we couldn't change." He stopped outside his grandfather's door. "Dr. Chen, would you join me for coffee when your shift ends? I'd like to properly thank you." Naomi hesitated. Hospital policy discouraged personal involvement with patients' families. Yet something about his direct gaze made her usual caution waver. "I finish at midnight," she found herself saying. "The cafe across the street stays open late." A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Midnight it is." As he disappeared into his grandfather's room, Naomi wondered what she'd just agreed to. Between her failed engagement 6 months ago and her 60-hour work weeks, romance was the last thing she needed, especially with a man whose world couldn't be further from her own. But as midnight approached, she found herself watching the clock, wondering if their worlds might collide again under the gentle glow of cafe lights and second chances. Hidden scars. The cafe's warm lighting cast a gentle glow across Jasper's features as Naomi slid into the seat across from him. 2 steaming mugs waited on the table. "I took the liberty," he said, pushing one toward her. "The barista recommended their cinnamon latte for night shifts." Thoughtful. Naomi wrapped her fingers around the mug, savoring the warmth. "How's your grandfather?" "Resting comfortably, thanks to you." Jasper studied her face. "You look exhausted." 12-hour shifts will do that." She sipped her latte, surprised by the perfect balance of sweetness. "But I'm used to it." "Do you ever slow down, Dr. Chen?" "Naomi," she corrected. "And no, not often. Lives depend on me staying alert. What about your life?" The question hung between them, unexpectedly intimate. Naomi glanced away, suddenly uncomfortable with his perception. "My life is my work," she finally said. "It's enough, is it?" His voice was soft, not challenging, but curious. Before she could answer, his phone buzzed. Jasper checked it, frowning. It's Olivia, my head of R&D. She's been monitoring a project launch. You should take it. I understand priorities. No. He silenced the phone. Some things matter more. Something shifted in the air between them. Naomi found herself talking about her childhood in Seattle, her mother's battle with heart disease that inspired her career choice. Jasper shared stories of growing up under his grandfather's guidance after his parents' accident. He taught me everything, Jasper said, tracing the rim of his empty mug. When I started Blackwood Innovations, he was my first investor, not because the idea was solid, but because he believed in me. Is that why you're so driven? Partly. His eyes met hers. Also because I failed someone once. My college girlfriend, Elise. What happened? Cancer. I was building my first startup, working 20-hour days. By the time I realized how serious her condition was, he swallowed hard. I wasn't there when she needed me most. Naomi reached across the table, her fingers lightly touching his. I understand guilt. My fiancé, David, he left 6 months ago, said he couldn't compete with my patience. His loss, Jasper said quietly, turning his hand to capture hers. The touch sent warmth spiraling through her. For the first time in months, Naomi felt something crack in the careful walls she'd built around her heart. It's nearly 2, she whispered, reluctantly pulling away. I should go. Outside, the night air was crisp with early autumn. Jasper insisted on walking her to her car. I'd like to see you again, he said as they reached her sedan. Outside the hospital. Naomi hesitated. Patient families are off limits. Then it's fortunate that in 3 days, when my grandfather is discharged, I'll just be Jasper. His smile was both challenging and hopeful. What do you say to dinner Friday night? Against her better judgment, Naomi nodded. As she drove home, she wondered if she was making a terrible mistake or taking the first step toward healing scars she'd pretended didn't exist. Dangerous territory. The Blackwood Innovations Charity Gala transformed the company's atrium into a glittering wonderland. Naomi felt distinctly out of place in her midnight blue gown, a stark contrast to her usual scrubs. As she entered on Jasper's arm, everyone staring, she murmured, "Because you're stunning." His fingers brushed the small of her back, sending shivers along her spine. And because they're wondering who captured the attention of San Francisco's most notorious workaholic. The past 2 weeks had unfolded in a whirlwind of late dinners and early morning, coffee dates squeezed between her hospital shifts, and his business obligations. Walter's recovery had progressed well, providing the perfect excuse for their continued connection. Jasper, a woman with copper hair, approached them. The Seattle investors are asking about the neural interface demo. Tell them 15 minutes, Vivian. Jasper's tone was polite but dismissive. This is Dr. Naomi Chen. Naomi, my VP of Operations, Vivian Drake. Vivian's assessment was swift and calculating. So you're the miracle worker who saved Walter. Jasper hasn't stopped talking about you. Hardly a miracle, Naomi replied. Just good medicine. Don't let her modesty fool you, Jasper said. She's revolutionizing cardiac surgical techniques. As the evening progressed, Naomi found herself constantly at Jasper's side, watching him navigate the crowd with natural charisma. He introduced her to everyone as the brilliant Dr. Chen, his pride evident. During a momentary reprieve, they slipped onto the rooftop terrace. The city lights stretched below them, a carpet of stars mirrored on Earth. You're incredible, Jasper said softly. Everyone's enchanted by you. By the novelty, you mean? Naomi smiled. The doctor who distracted the elusive Jasper Blackwood. Is that what you think this is? A distraction? His hand found hers. Naomi, I haven't felt this way in years. Maybe ever. Before she could respond, the terrace door opened. A man with familiar features stepped out, his expression darkening when he spotted them. Naomi? Her stomach dropped. David! Jasper's posture stiffened as he read the situation. I take it this is my ex-fiancé, Naomi confirmed. David, this is Jasper Blackwood. David's smile didn't reach his eyes. The tech wunderkind himself. I should have guessed Naomi would trade up. David, don't, Naomi warned. What? I'm simply observing that you found someone whose workaholic tendencies match yours. David's gaze was cutting. Does he know you'll always choose your patients over him? That you'll miss anniversaries for emergencies? Jasper stepped forward, his voice dangerously quiet. I think you should leave. Or what? You'll have security escort me out? I'm representing potential investors, Blackwood. Then represent them inside, not by harassing Dr. Chen. Jasper's tone left no room for argument. After David retreated, Naomi leaned against the railing, trembling slightly. I'm sorry about that. Don't be. Jasper moved closer. For what it's worth, I admire your dedication. It's part of what draws me to you. Even if it means canceled plans and middle-of-the-night calls. His answer was to pull her into his arms, his lips finding hers in a kiss that stole her breath. Against the backdrop of city lights, Naomi felt herself falling into dangerous territory, a place where professional boundaries blurred and hearts became vulnerable once more. Part 4. Breaking point. The emergency alert shattered the peaceful Sunday morning. Naomi was already reaching for her phone before fully awake, Jasper stirring beside her. What is it? He murmured, watching her face as she read the message. Multiple trauma cases coming in. 5-car pileup on the freeway. She was already moving, gathering clothes. I have to go. Jasper nodded, understanding in his eyes. I'll make coffee for your travel mug. This had become their rhythm over the past month, stolen moments of normalcy punctuated by the demands of their respective worlds. Last night had been rare, dinner at his penthouse without interruptions, followed by whispered confessions in the darkness of his bedroom. As Naomi rushed through the hospital doors 20 minutes later, her colleague, Dr. Ryder Matthews, greeted her with grim efficiency. 4 critical, 2 stable. First ambulance arriving now. The next hours passed in controlled chaos. Naomi was elbow-deep in a thoracic repair when her phone buzzed repeatedly in her locker. It wasn't until 4 hours later that she checked it. 8 missed calls from Jasper. Cold dread washed over her as she listened to his voicemail. It's Walter. They've taken him to St. Mary's. It was closer. His heart. Please call me when you can. Naomi raced to St. Mary's, still in her scrubs. She found Jasper in the cardiac unit waiting room, his face ashen. Ventricular fibrillation, he said when he saw her. They're prepping him for emergency surgery. Who's operating? Dr. Feldman? Naomi nodded. He's excellent. One of the best. But he's not you. Jasper's voice cracked. I tried to reach you. I was in surgery. Jasper, I'm so sorry. He paced the small room. This is exactly what happened with Elise. I was unreachable when she needed me, and now when my grandfather needs the best care, stop. Naomi stepped in front of him. This isn't the same situation. Walter is getting excellent care. I should have brought him to you directly. The closest hospital was the right call. Minutes matter in cardiac events. Jasper's expression hardened. Like the minutes I wasted trying to reach you? The words hung between them, sharp and wounding. Naomi stepped back, stung. That's not fair, isn't it? We both know our work will always come first. His laugh was hollow. Maybe David was right after all. Don't do this, Naomi whispered. Not now. Before he could respond, a nurse appeared. Mr. Blackwood? Your grandfather is asking for you. Jasper hesitated, then followed the nurse without looking back. Naomi sank into a chair, her professional composure crumbling. This was why she'd kept relationships at arm's length since David. The impossible balance, the inevitable disappointment. After an hour with no sign of Jasper returning, she left a note with the nurse's station and walked out into the rain, each step feeling like a final departure from something precious that had barely begun. Midnight promises. 3 days passed without contact. Naomi threw herself into work, ignoring concerned glances from colleagues who noticed the shadows under her eyes. She checked Walter's condition through hospital records, stable after successful surgery, but resisted the urge to call Jasper. On the 4th night, she arrived home to find him sitting on her doorstep, rain-soaked despite the umbrella beside him. How long have you been here? She asked, keys frozen in her hand. 2 hours. He stood, water dripping from his coat. I deserve to wait. Naomi unlocked her door, wordlessly inviting him inside. In her small living room, Jasper looked out of place, tall and commanding despite his disheveled appearance. Walter's being discharged tomorrow, he said. Dr. Feldman says he'll make a full recovery. I know. I checked his file. Jasper's eyes softened. Of course you did. Silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken words. I behaved terribly, Jasper finally said. Taking my fear out on you was unforgivable. We both said things? No. He stepped closer. You were doing your job, saving lives. I reacted from old wounds, old guilt. Naomi wrapped her arms around herself. This is why doctors don't date patients' families. The emotional entanglement compromises judgment. Is that all this is? An entanglement? You know it's more. Her voice wavered. But maybe that's the problem. We're both haunted by past failures. We both put work first. How can this possibly work? Jasper reached for her hands, holding them between his own. Because I've spent 3 days imagining my life without you in it, and it's unbearable. Jasper, let me finish. His thumbs traced circles on her palms. My grandfather said something to me after his surgery. He said, son, I've survived 2 heart attacks. What will it take for you to recognize your own heart matters too? A single tear slipped down Naomi's cheek. Jasper gently wiped it away. I don't expect you to choose me over your patients, he continued, just as you wouldn't ask me to abandon my company. But I think we can choose each other alongside those commitments, if we're brave enough. And when emergencies happen, when we disappoint each other, then we forgive. We adjust. We try again. He cupped her face in his hands. I'm not asking for perfection, Naomi. Just for the chance to love you through the imperfect moments. The clock on her wall chimed midnight as Jasper pulled her closer, his lips finding hers with gentle certainty. This kiss wasn't the heated passion of new attraction, but a deeper promise of understanding, forgiveness, and a future written one day at a time. Stay, Naomi whispered against his mouth. For tonight, she smiled, her heart finally unguarded. For as long as we can make this work. Outside, the rain eased, and the clouds parted to reveal a sky scattered with stars, witnesses to beginnings found in the most unexpected collisions of worlds, hearts, and second chances.